Hello everyone, Derpy here. Welcome to my Bronze Raid live stream. I'm just going to wait a little bit for everyone to get trickled in, then we're going to go start out with the targets. Hope y'all can hear me okay. It is 3 p.m., so we're going to go ahead and get started. Just got the pop-up here from Kixeye, so let's look through these targets here and see what kind of things we have in this raid. I'm going to be going through the lowest targets first and then up the chain as we move on. So looks like we have a couple. They're switching to this new cycle. They have been for the last couple months, last couple raids. The top tier targets are still Siege with the 2 regular ones and the 1 experimental super crazy one that requires the hole we get in this raid. And we also have the other Siege S set here. Instead of having a Siege A set where we'd use eradicators, we have a skirmish A set, which is an interesting one with the same experimental target from last raid with the suppressor. We also have a Siege B set here. Instead of having a Siege C set, we have a Skirmish C set. So there's so many different things here that we can possibly use. There's a lot of different targets available in the raid, which is good. Having more access to targets and more ability for players to get points and play the game is good, as long as it's not too confusing though. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be loading up my Fangtooth fleet to start out with. It's just my standard build here. I had a video on this one. They're all a pretty same build here. We have a bunch of torpedoes. Some are Nightmare, some are Delirium. We have a couple charged armors. We also have some other regular specials. It's a pretty ordinary build here for my Fangtooth. They're all set up the same, except I believe the flag has a couple more lighter, heavier torpedoes. And the flag actually also has sonic targeting 3 on instead of having something else on here instead. So I'm going to take this fleet out, hit the low ones, and get started here. Welcome to everyone in chat, and we're going to get started. The first one down here is the level 40. We're going to try that and see what this pays out here. These look like to be the same general type of targets that we're familiar with, so most players who have been using Fangtooth should be able to do this as well. I believe Hunters might also work as a possibility. I might try those if I have time for that at some point, but I'll try and move up the targets pretty fast so we can go ahead and get started. I'm not running with a road crew on this one just to see how it goes here. Yep, it's the standard one that everyone should be used to at this point. I just have my fleet here. If you don't have a Phantom Fangtooth, whatever else, it should still work. Ooh, this is from the Bat Ray raid, so these smart torpedoes are going to come get you. They're going to explode. So that's a new development here. I didn't really hit a lot of the targets in this raid with my lower level things. If you take Bat Rays or Razor Tails in this target, they'll also work, but the payout is going to be so low, it's not going to be worth it whatsoever. So you can see here, things are shooting at me, things are hitting me, but I'm not taking a ton of damage because of charged armor. This is not very good driving, but it is my first time with this target here. We're just going to see how this goes. I don't want to trigger everything here at once, even though that just about happened. I want to try and kill things off in sections without getting trapped back here. Let's see, there we go. I'm trying to kite these things, and that means keeping them at max range and turning. Because if you get too close, even I think just slightly below max range, and they're faster than me, which is difficult, they're going to end up shooting at me. But I'm going to check my charge pool in a second here. I think I've been okay. I'm actually going to press, if you press the 0 key on your keyboard, it has every one of your ships target the 5 closest enemy ships here. So when you press 0, you target 5 ships. And can spread out your damage if you can do it that way. Okay, looks like my charged armor is just about completely depleted, as you can see here, which means I'm running on just my survival or resistance, so I can see what's going on there. Looks like my fleet's going to end up taking instant repair or pretty close to instant repair from this target, which shouldn't be too bad. I'm not sure if lower level players are going to also be able to do that as well. But this is a pretty tricky fleet to drive here. I wish that the recommended hull, it would make more sense to design this hull around the Hunter Mark 1 to me. That would seem to be more accessible for lower players. I don't have any anti-mortars or anything on here. It's just straight damage, and I'm trying to have to avoid all the damage by driving around, which isn't always the best. Let's see, if you can move perpendicular to this line of fire here, you can avoid all the damage from that, and all the ice fields could be placed in a more strategic position, but it looks like I'm doing pretty well here. Just cutting off these last nemesis. My ships are doing such good damage that it looks like I should just be able to, even if you just ran 1 or 2 ships in this fleet here, 1 or 2 Fangtooths, you'd probably have a decent amount of success. Let me try that. I'm going to park the rest over there, take ships 2 and 3 and pull them out and see how much damage just 2 ships here do. I'm going to guess 1 or 2 volleys will still be enough to kill the ship. Yeah, look at that. Oh, that's just 1 ship here. 1 ship driving around has enough damage that it's able to kill all the things in 1 shot, which seems pretty good, and you'll take less damage if you're not driving stacked, because all the weapons here are splash weapons other than the torpedoes. Okay, that was the level 40 Scourge target here, and that's going to pay out 5,000 points, and it's half of a set bonus of, I believe, 10,000 points is going to be the de facto standard here. If you look at my battle report, you can see that I took concussive damage, explosive damage, which is what you expect from these targets here, and I dealt only concussive. 47 seconds, I can repair that instantly and go ahead and move on up to the next target, so we can work our way up onto the rest of the rest of the targets. I'm going to go through all of them. I might not get to the extreme top, but we're going to go through and see what we can do here. So this will pay out 5,000 points, and as far as prizes, I'm not sure you're going to be able to get many at all unless you're grinding like crazy on all this stuff. You can see even look at the skirmish tech, trying to get in the small stuff is still going to be fairly expensive. I'm not sure how much the bat rate costs, but if you're trying to upgrade your stuff, it's still going to be quite a grind as you're going through here. And it looks like we do have a badge here that I'm going to put on my base here. Oh, look. If you can earn the new Siege Experimental Hold, the Scoundrel, you get a Dirty Rotten Scoundrel with this wonderful gentleman right here. And I believe there's also an achievement, participate in the September 2019 event, getting bronzed. So there are a couple new achievements or badges there for you badge collectors. Okay, next one up here. And looks like you're spawning behind most of the ships. They're facing away from you, which is generally a good thing because they're not coming at you too fast, and they're maybe a little bit more spread out. I will note that my Fangtooths here only really have sonar on them. They don't have any thermal, so the enemy Nighthawk that just went underwater here and is submerged it's right there. Looks like I can spot them from decently far away, but then again, I do have a Sonic Targeting 3 special on my flag, which allows sonar, and some other people don't have that same thing. So if you're not running a sonar, it might be more difficult to catch on to some of the ships here. And again, these torpedoes here, these white things, are smart torpedoes. They're fired by the interceptor holds, and they will head at you and try to attack you. And they'll chase you. They're trackers, and they're pretty good at tracking you. You can outrun them a little bit because they have a set time frame duration that only lasts for a certain range. If you can outrun that, then you're fine. But they don't seem to be doing much damage to my Fangtooth here. I may or may not try releasing a video where I'm using hunters because I think those are more accessible and easier to drive for more players than subs. I know you have a lot of people who don't like sub driving too much. I'm again pressing the 0 key on my keyboard so I can spread out and have all my ships target different things. And if it will put them on auto, but if I click away from that, they keep the targeting on the different ships and then they just spread out and they all target different things. It's an easier way for me to try and kill multiple things at once without manually going through and clicking everything. The level 42 here, Scourge 42, seems to be easier to complete to me than the higher level targets, or the lower level target actually. It seems easier. Now we do actually have a couple of the special Nighthawks under the surface here, I believe, the Phantom flagship ones here, and at least in the higher level targets that we use the bat ray on, I remember those being a lot trickier to kill, but it seems like they just die about the same in this target, so you don't have to worry about that too much, or even really at all. So these have been the 2 lower level targets. That'll be a total point payout of 5,000 for each plus a 10,000 bonus. So that's going to end up being 20,000 points. For lower levels, I have no idea how accessible this is to grinding. I have no idea how many lower levels will actually have a fleet that's this complete, but it is just an option here for some people to try and use. So we have that low level thing out of the way here. Let's go ahead and get started with the slightly higher things. I'm going to launch my eradicators and go and hit something that's a little bit higher. I'll also take in my shrikes and maybe try the other target with shrikes, post a video of the one I didn't use. Okay, so going into the targets here, we can see that that was just the C set that we have completed. And the next one up here is the B set. This has higher point payouts. Level 62 is recommended for eradicators. Level 63 is recommended for the shrikes. So we're going to go ahead and hit the level 62 here. Look, it matches up pretty well. This is this Legion Castra is the same as this other one, level 120. So make sure you don't mix that up and hit the wrong ones. If you're trying to auto something, ensure that you're not hitting the wrong ones there. Let's see. Looks like we're good to go here. Thank you, Ether Doc. You get a bunch of resources from that. I'm going to try and auto those lower level targets at some point. Experiment when I have more time and be able to hit that stuff with maybe if you're short on resources or anything else like that, you can get some from those lower level targets. But I just want to show those in case there's any lower level people watching who need that kind of access to that kind of things in their game. I'm going to move on to something slightly higher now. I assume most people watching will have an eradicator fleet. Immediately when I go into this target, what I can see is that it's not the same as the old ones. This one's actually set up the same as the VXP targets were. We have a bunch of random abilities that don't do anything. This huge fiery flamethrower ball of death here that has specific channels and targets. So you're going to want to run away from these big flamethrowers whenever you get close to them. They have a certain path. Looks like they're a timer, so you're going to have to go through, hide in the side, wait for it to go through, then move on to the next one. We have some other turrets here. You can see that this yellow one, for example, is a UAV turret. My Eradicator fleet does not have any anti-mortars or anti-missiles on them, so that's going to be potentially worrisome because this is designed for the old siege targets, not the new ones. We also have some Wendigos, which I believe will deal radioactive damage, and some very short-range arc missile turrets here, and I'm not sure what their focus is. I would believe they're an extremely high damage, extremely short range target. It looks like it's probably going to be best to just run a stacked fleet in here, and I'll probably end up doing that one, and that will be easier than trying for anything else here. So let's get my fleet together and get started. Okay. And the Eradicator does have that ability where it will Bloodthirst, where it increases damage when it increases its flamethrower of death here. I almost ran into that because I was distracted. It increases the damage and everything resistances when it kills things, so killing things makes you go faster. So I'm just pulling in part way here. Maybe I should not be stopped, and I am taking a decent amount of damage from all this stuff. And my Eradicators are taking a while to kill all the different things. I'm not moving in too closely because I don't want to trigger the arc turrets here. I don't know which things I need to prioritize, but you can see all of these small yellow things, these golden things, are actually quite annoying, and they're doing a fair amount of damage to me, actually, because I don't know how to deal with it. I don't have any anti-mortars on here. Now that we've killed this one, we're going to park our ships and wait for the flamethrower to pass, because once the flames go through, then we're going to be able to take my ships through, and once they go through, we'll be able to run through there without too much damage here. Okay. We're going from stopped, and we're going through, and yep, we made it perfectly in time. You don't really even have to spend that long to time it. And I'm not going too close to this little arc turret here again, because it's a little bit too dangerous. I think it's probably extremely high damage. And like I noticed, my ships are taking a very long time to kill all of the individual things here. If I focus on it more and prioritize the turrets, that might end up being better, because you see how each of these regular buildings will die to about one shot. That means those regular buildings are really good for having my bloodthirst and getting my spin count up here, because I've already taken about 25% damage. Once again, waiting for the flames to go through, I'm going to pull in super close and target these things here and shoot them down before they can kill me, before the flame starts again. That might end up being tricky. You might even have to end up doing, yep, it already went through. So if you kill the two in the middle and on the left, you can go through, hit the one on the right, fine. This is the level 62 siege target here, and this is my full-blown brutal eradicator fleet, same design as last raid going through it. Looks like I got about 25% damage, give or take. This was my first hit, not driving super carefully, just running through it on the live stream. So that might end up being a little bit easier to go through on the actual raid here. So if I go to damage, there's a little bit more radioactive damage than ballistic here. I evaded none of it, apparently, because it doesn't count the ones because it's all splash damage. I took some ballistic, some radioactive. I dealt only ballistic. If I go to my fleet here, it's a 2-hour damage for 2.5 or 25,000 points, which you'll be able to get down if you spend time driving this ride. I'm not saying this is the best driving. It is going to get better. This is my build for my eradicators here. They're all set up exactly the same, if I remember correctly, except for, oh, looks like I'm missing an armor on one or two of these. I'm missing an armor on this one. Or, no, the one that's U2 has another armor added on here because that U2 unlocks another armor slot. So they're all set up the same here. This is the build I'm going with, and it's it's a pretty standard one here. You go through, you do damage to it. I agree, this is a lot of damage for a level 62, but this was my first hit, my first try. I'm sure other people are going to be able to do better. I'll do better when I upload a video showing it off and haven't actually tried this for real when I'm concentrating and can practice multiple times and be able to get the target down. I'm going to take my Shrikes out here and hit the level 64 and try and find those and hit a level 64 siege target and see if I can go ahead and do that. Okay, so that paid out to 25,000 points, and the level 64 is also going to end up paying out 2,500 or 25,000 points. I'm using my Shrikes, but the thing is with my Shrikes, I only have the flagship built out because I haven't spent any time or any work on it since the last raid at all. Since the last time I used the Shrikes. So using my Shrikes on the level 64 is going to end up doing not a ton of, it might be interesting to see the actual target because I have 4 blank ones in the back that are only for the boosts and for the defense bonus, but I only have the flagship outfitted with damage dealing weapons. So this might be a little bit of a longer process, taking some more, it might be a little bit longer. If you don't have eradicators or Shrikes built yet, I see someone in the YouTube chat talking about that. They're really only useful for siege things, so they help out a little bit in this raid, obviously, and also some collection of base parts, but they're not the best thing to focus on. Focusing on things like the Forsaken Mission Garrison will be better. Okay, that's not my Shrike fleet, that is my Eradicator fleet, so we pulled up the wrong one. I'm sure using Shrikes or Eradicators in the other one will also work, but it's just not the, let's see. Okay, here we go. Shrikes will be here in a minute. So, like I said, if I use the Eradicator in the 64, it will probably help out. The Eradicator will probably work in the level 64 target, but is recommended for the Shrikes. We're going to do what's recommended and try it out that way. If I can find another one that's closer, we might be able to go for that. Let's see. Okay, we also have the level 500 targets, which require this new experimental siege hole, and that's going to be something interesting. We'll see if anyone actually ends up coining that and going out and building the whole experimental thing. I know I'm not going to be able to do that. Okay, let's see. When I went in there with my Eradicators, the wrong one, it actually looked pretty crowded. So there might be a might be an interesting. There might be a lot of things going on here with the all the target. It might be too difficult. Might be too difficult to end up driving this. Okay, I'm gonna take my 4 in the back. I'm gonna hide them in the corner. I'm gonna take my 1 and I'm gonna pull that forward. Now the strike will surface when it is stopped, and it will only shoot when it's surfaced. It looks like they're shooting at me when I'm below water, but I'm not sure if I'm taking damage there or not. Okay. And we can see that there's a bunch of flamethrowers happening in this one too. They're all angled for going down the channel. So I'm gonna have to end up timing this as well too. I don't know if I'll take damage when yeah, look at that. They're going through there. I might have to pull into the side slots here. This is a case where using one ship might actually be an advantage because it means it'll be easier to drive because I'm not having to worry about 5 of them. And also, I'm going to take less splash damage. Okay, so we just have the yellow fireball come through here. So let's target these Wendigo turrets that are actually shooting at us. We can kill those, hopefully before the next one comes. If not, we can run away. So the next one's coming here. I don't know if it's doing damage. I don't know how big of a splash radius is actually on that hole, or is actually on that weapon. After the next volley comes down here from this number 1 here, we're going to pull into this side corner bit and try and take care of this Wendigo. Okay, pulling in. If you start moving about a second before the thing ends, you'll probably end up being close enough. It looks like the Wendigo will only hit you. It's a splash weapon, so it doesn't track you. And that means if you're moving, you won't end up taking as much damage, or maybe you can even avoid all the damage from it because you're moving. It shouldn't add where you were, not where you are. Yes, the silverfish fleet is for the A set. This is the B set here, the level 60s. It has a level 62, which I did with eradicators, and this is the level 64, which I'm doing with strikes here. UAVs are coming in and shooting at me, and they're doing a lot of damage here. Whoa. UAVs are painful. So I'm not sure if this one ship will actually end up surviving the target. Someone has a question in chat. What is the Buccaneer useful for if it's not going to survive the raid, or not useful in the raid? The Buccaneer might be able to do the level 62, 64 targets, although I doubt it. Maybe it's an entrance into siege. So, yep, I would just park my ships, drain the flamethrower there, and I lost the ship. So, like I said, the other ones in the back here they're just blank holes. We did a decent amount of the target here, but losing a full ship for this one target here is not a good approach at all. So I'm going to have to retreat. I'm going to pull my Eradicator fleet and see if I can do a little bit better. But my initial thoughts on this target are that without focusing on it too much, I'm taking a lot of damage from the flamethrowers, and that's not a very well designed target in my thought process. It's not a very well designed target if the fleet that most people have built can't end up completing it. So we're going to pull up my Eradicators, and we're going to try and do this with my Eradicator fleet, just so we can see the target and see how well this works. And I'm just going to complete the target so I can show you all what it is. Are the targets tier locked? Yet, let's see. Okay. Yes, they are. The level 64 only allows tier 8 siege, which means you can't use Buccaneers if Buccaneers are not tier 8. Actually, that's interesting because the 502 target also allows in the tier 8, and I believe tier 8.5, which is what the new Dragoons are, will actually still work in the lower targets. I believe you can use I will have to try this, but I think you can be able to attack the 60s with your Dragoon fleet. I think that's possible because tier 8.5 is technically still tier 8, which is an interesting approach there, because we could use from the Siege Spin TLC, we could use tokens for tier 8 ships on the tier 8.5, and that should mean Dragoons will also work. That means Dragoons will also work because the 502 target allowed tier 8. It means you could use Dragoons in the 60s. Okay. So that's an interesting thing to note here. But they are definitely class locked. You can't use a skirmish fleet in this one. You can't use this in a skirmish target. And that's good because it means Kixeye is saving people and not allowing people to do stupid things like bringing the wrong hole into the target. We're going for this next. We're moving out of the way here with this next fire blast here. We got out of the way of the flamethrower. I'm still taking damage from the Wendigo, but I think the flamethrower was the main source of damage in this target, even though it's pretty small and pretty crowded. So we should be okay here. I'm going to be risky and pull in right up to the next little stop place here before the flamethrower. Yeah, that was close. See how it grazed the end of my ship because I went for the second stop instead of the first stop? That's a lot. Let's see, Captain Lockheed in chat is saying that this target looks like the old Tier 8 8-bit platform games. And yeah, I've seen a couple other things that look like this. I've played some games where you have to pull into the side and not get hit by that main damage source. I think that's a pretty meta thing. And we have Pure Gamer 93 here asking, why the buck camp if it can't be used? I don't know. I think it definitely provides access to the Buccaneer for lower level players, and that's definitely a positive thing. Access to a hole for lower level players is good, but let's see what kind of thing it's actually used in the Buccaneer. I'll probably make a video on this one. Yes, you want to use skirmish fleets to get the Buccaneer and other build tokens and VXP tokens, but it doesn't even give you enough build tokens to end up building a whole fleet whatsoever. So you can get things out of it, but it's not going to be that great. I don't think we can use Bucks or Hydras in this game here. You definitely can't use them in the level 40s because the level 40s are skirmish. Level 40 and 42, as I showed, are skirmish. So you can't use them on any of that. I think you can probably use them on some lower level chore targets. Those will probably work on that. I'm now going to get out my silverfish fleet here and hit the A set. I don't know why they're in the raid. It's just access to the lower level. It's access to the Buccaneers, access to a hole and weapon and special for lower level players, so they can try playing with them in the game. Yes, they're good for expeditions. Yes, they're good for some lower level chore targets, and they give you the XP and some build tokens. So you can use them. It will help out a little bit, but just not a ton. It's essentially a free hole because the TLC is designed to be so easy that anyone built with a hunter fleet could do that. So that's why it's there. I think that maybe a better hole would have been the Eradicator that's offered somewhere else. Okay, we're now going to move on to my silverfish in the A set target. I just have 4 regular ones and a flagship one here. They're not fully designed out. This right here, my number 5, is my fully built fleet. It has full weapon slots. It has some armor. One of them is a D7 limited. The rest are just hydrofoil plating. It has the anti-torpedo and Gale 4, which are pretty useful. And it has some other random specials in here. This is just a pretty standard setup, I believe. And I do have a couple of them. I have 2 of them that are not fully armored. Ships number 2 and ships number 4 here do not have armors on it at all because I can't afford the build time for that. If there's some old tokens, I might be able to go for that. But you'll have to keep your eye on my ships, see if ships number 2 and 4 are taking a little bit more damage. My engines are also a little bit all over the place here. I have some sync drive on a couple of them. I have resistors on a couple others. Speed system 6 on another one. So it's still a little bit patched up, but my ships are a little bit out of whack and aren't quite the same speed. So that's going to just be something to keep an eye on. My ships are not going to travel the same. They're not going to be the same speed, and that's okay. If I have more time at some point tokens, I'll end up refitting that and get it all together. But the A set here is going to be one that a lot of people are hitting. So this is actually a pretty important one. Make sure you keep watching here because the A set is going to be a lot more important than some of the other stuff that I've been showing. So we have the level 82 to level 84 and the level 400 something. I'm just going to try the 82 and 84 for right now. I'll talk about raid prizes after I go through all this stuff, but real quick, the top raid hole, one of them is the new Siege experimental hole, and that's the one you're going to be using in the level 502 target. And there's some other random tech in there that I'll make a video on, talk about. But we're going to focus on this target right now so I don't lose my fleet. Okay, this is the skirmish one here. Looks like a pretty standard gluttony setup here, same as the silverfish raid, which I didn't do that much of. I do have a full fleet, but we'll have to see how it goes. I remember these two packs come on the outside and then end up in the middle somewhere. I might end up being trapped a little bit and not have a lot of wiggle room. And remember, when you kill some of these smaller dagger-tooth ships here, the stonefish at the back, or no, those aren't stonefish, whatever they're called, these big goblin sharks, when you kill the smaller ones, the bigger ones will overload and will head towards you and will deal a lot of damage. So you want to see those ones, after they're done being stunned, they're overloaded, so they're heading toward me at a high rate of speed. So we have an incoming enemy at a high rate of speed, and I'm going to end up taking damage from those if I get trapped in the corner, which I don't want to do. I also want to stay fairly close to these ones so that I can I want to stay fairly close to these so that I can shoot them and keep my spin going high and not end up being just trapped against something, because if I'm closer to them, I will take more damage, but I will also do more damage because these little red circles here mean that I've been shooting. And if you keep shooting and you keep your spin up, you're going to do better. So I've killed most of this target here. Once again, this is not perfect driving. This is my rough and ready. I'm just going out and trying this and running through this. But you can see in the little top here that I've killed in the green. I've only taken about 1/8 of the damage, and I've killed 75% of the enemy. So that's a good thing there. If I was to practice this and have my fleet fully built out with better armors, I would probably be able to do. I would do better if I had a slightly better design and spent more time driving correctly and did everything super well. But this is just my quick. Hey, I'm showing you in this raid what this target is. I'm letting you see and go ahead and hit that. I'm letting you see what it is when I'm hitting that. So when you go in, you're not completely surprised. So you're prepared. I'm saving you maybe a little bit of damage. I didn't do anything super fancy in the level 82 target other than just not being stuck in a corner and generally trying to kite the ships. I'm not driving on a knife's edge. I don't want to focus on that. What I will show you is I'm taking a lot of explosive damage and not a lot of concussive. So maybe my defense setup is a little bit off, and I want to refit a little bit and have some more explosive armors and less concussive. We can see here that I've taken about an hour of damage for that target there, which is not that great. It will get better if I drive well and keep going and trying and doing things perfectly, but an hour of damage for 80,000 points with a little bit of the set bonus to be expected at some point. That was the level 82 target. Next up is the level 84 Scourge Apiary here, and I have an hour of damage already on this hull, already on this fleet. I have an hour and 2 minutes, so remember that when I end up coming back. I'm going to be moving into the higher level siege targets after this, so make sure you stay tuned because we'll get some more exciting stuff. Okay, I've seen this target before. It might have been last raid, might have been or last siege or skirmish cycle, might have been in TLCs. Yes, having these be A-sets from last raid would make sense. I've seen this before in some other target. What's going to happen is these gluttonies are going to somehow loop around, be stuck back there, if I remember. And I'm going to try and kill the other things without getting trapped in this little narrow channel of death. Because you can see on the UI here in the bottom right, it gets stuck. Okay. I have some stonefish coming in. These ones I want to surface before I shoot at them, because when they're surfaced, I do a lot more damage. And I don't remember how they surface. It might just be a time near me, or it might just be a proximity thing. But when they're surfaced, you do a lot better against them. And I might end up getting trapped here because I have a bunch of other ships heading in. I'm going to head up to the top left here so I can avoid all these things. If I kill these small ones here, the big ones are going to overload there. The goblin sharks are overloaded and they're coming at me, which is not ideal, but I'm taking damage anyway. This is the A set target here. This is the 84. I already hit the 82, but this is the A set. Both of them are combined. You want to use skirmish. You want to use the silverfish fleet here to hit them. This is one where Kixeye's recommendation is actually required and needed and is helpful because that's a positive thing here. They're telling us what holes to use, and that's good. There are smart torpedoes in here and a bunch of other projectiles. I have some anti-missiles for some of the stuff. Like I have some gales on here for these big mortar things that are coming at me. I'm not driving 100% perfect. I'm taking some damage. And I also have some cormorant anti-torpedoes. And those help against the regular torpedoes, not the smart torpedoes. The smart torpedoes, you have to have that special CIC on there that will help and will shoot them down. You can have ones that are similar to the bat ray, or ones that are similar to the razor tail. I have a mix of them on my fleet. I have 2 of one and 3 of the other. I can go over my build at the end again after the next skirmish target here. But it looks like I took a little bit more damage on this target. We'll have to see when we actually check the damage. But again, if you were to try and drive this perfectly and drive this really well, you would probably do a little bit better because you would do better because you're focusing more. And right now I'm talking, I'm looking at chat, I'm focusing on a bunch of different things, not just my driving. So take this damage here with a little grain of salt. Once again, you see I took a lot more explosive damage than concussive, so changing around my armors or specials might be a little bit better. There's a question from Matthew about what crews would work well for the A set. Anything that works well with silverfish, like the evade crew or steelhead's crew, those ones are my go-to most of the time. I would recommend trying out those ones. There's also one that boosts torpedo damage a little bit, so I don't quite remember what that one's called, but using that one would be a good one to go for. So we got another 80,000 points from this with an hour and 40 minutes of damage, so that's 3 hours of damage total for the 2 targets there, which is a lot. You can see my ship number 4 here, which is one of the ones without armors, and it's a little bit slower, took a lot more damage than the rest of them. Ship number 2 with no armors didn't take any more damage. I'm not sure if anything has priority targeting or anything, but let's see. Yes, a lot of my damage was from the smart torpedo there, which I wasn't focusing on that much. Okay, so if we go through the targets there, we're going to see that there's the I've hit 2 here, and there's the third one, the level 400 from the skirmish raid, which I have never tried before. But we're going to go through and hit that and see what kind of thing we get. I'm expecting to lose the fleet. If I expect things to go poorly, I end up doing better, well, then that's a positive thing. I've never actually seen this target before. I'm going to show you all now, so when you go and you don't lose your fleet, you watch me lose mine. It's recommended to use a suppressor here. I don't have that, so we're just going to... Ooh, that's disappointing. Shockwave Flash has crashed. So we have a fleet inside the target here. We are reloading, and we are not doing very well. I'm going to end up submitting a support ticket for that. Flash just crashed. I have it on video. I brought up a little blocker here so y'all don't see too much of the random stuff. But I'm in a target. My fleet is in there, and it's gone. There's nothing I can do. Okay. I'm going to try and get back in pretty quickly here, see if I can salvage something. And we are back. Okay. It looks like before I left, I was somehow able to stop my ships. We're actually okay. I didn't take any damage here. My ships were stopped when I left the battle. So we're good. That was a lot better than expected. Okay, I'm not sure what happened. There's things heading toward me at a high rate of speed. The enemy's moving in, but we're having to... I'm trapped in the corner right now. It's better than losing my whole fleet, but I do have a lot of things heading at me. I'm going to focus this goblin shark here, I think, so I can not have that overload, but our fleet's still alive, and That's one thing here. All the things on the outside I'm killing. Oh boy, here we go. That's a lot of damage. Okay. There's mortars that come from the gluttony here in the middle. These two roving things that are doing a lot of damage to me. I'll have to be aware of that. Yeah, it's tinfoil hat time. They don't like the live stream because it's helping people. I'm being sarcastic. So they crashed my game. That didn't happen. The game just crashed. Nothing nefarious at all going on. Okay. There's some mortars heading in. Try and dodge those. My ships are pretty slow, it looks like. So we have two big gluttonies in the middle here with a little radioactive symbol. That means dangerous. And yeah, someone in chat is saying, Matthew's saying suppressor really helps. I don't have one of those, so we're just going to go in and try and kill things without that. I'm going to guess these yellow clouds are big bad, stay away from, don't go near this. And I do have some antis on my holes, so that might help a little bit. Actually looks like they're not firing at all. So, oh boy, there we go, yep. So it looks like if someone has a suppressor, they can do okay here. But without that, it's going to be not worth it to hit this target. I'm going to say it's not worth it to hit this target here with just your silverfish. Because you're going to be better off just hitting the 82 or 84. I'm taking most of my damage here. Again, my driving could be better, but I'm taking most of my damage from the mortars from the gluttonies, which the antis don't shoot at. I'm being told that in chat too, and figuring that out. Yep, if I keep moving, might be able to stay alive here. Nope, there goes the fleet. Okay, I'm dealing some damage now. I'm inside. I'm close to it. I have no idea if this mortar has a minimum range or not. If it does, we might be okay. But there's the second one from the other hole, and I'm still alive. Looks like, oh, nope, we're dead. I might have driven to the cloud. That's level 400 target, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. But, so, fleet ended up dying, as I was saying. There was a little bit of crashing going on there, but it's whatever. I'm just going through and killing my things, showing you the targets. So, that's 6 hours of damage there. Maybe some of it was due to my thing crashing there. Maybe some of it was not. I don't know. Okay. And we are refreshing now, I believe. Looks like the targets that we've hit so far, I've shown you the 40, 42, 62, 64. The 40s were easy and completable with probably even one fang tooth. I'm going to end up doing a video later on those with the hunters. The 62 with the eradicators, we did 25% of the damage from the fleet. The strike, my flagship ended up dying, and I had to finish that with my eradicators because I only have one hole built out. The 62, I took 1 hour of damage, or 82, 1 hour of damage with silverfish. 84, 1 hour, 40 minutes of damage with silverfish. The 400, I lost my fleet. But you need the 400 for the set bonus, which is fairly interesting. Once again, suppressor is recommended, so Kixeye did tell me that I wanted to use the suppressor. So it's recommended to have that. If you don't have it, you're not going to do well. Don't get upset about me losing my fleet. Now we have the interesting stuff that everyone is looking forward to. So now is the time to pay super close attention to this. We have the 120, 122 with the Ironclad and Ironclad Dragoon, and or with the Dragoon and the Ironclad Dragoon, and also the optional challenge target of the 502, which is recommended to use the Scoundrel, which is the top prize from this raid. So it looks like to get that, you're going to have to coin that. But if you can get the points to get that, then you don't need to get the whole, because you're going to end up already. It's a cycle. It doesn't work. Getting this whole, getting the Scoundrel will help for next raid and will be useful for next raid. The top target, the 502, is optional. You don't need to hit it to succeed in this raid, but it's just an option for some people who get that hole and want to subsidize my game by playing that and getting that hole. They can use that in the raid, but it's not something that's required to do the raid. It's an optional thing that will help out and will be good for people who coin it, But if you don't want to coin it, which I'm definitely not going to do, you don't have to worry about that. So I didn't use any crews for rest of this. I'm going to use a crew for this. You can see, I'm going to go over my build real quick here because it's not fully complete. You can see they're all partially ranked here. They're not fully ranked. I didn't have enough time or whatever else at the XP weekend. This is my build that I have 2 of right here. I've got 5 either tyrant or henchman cannons on these ships here. I've got 2 armors from the FM on them. There's a Z1C and a Z1 or ZR1. And as far as specials, I only have 5 on here. I don't have the last one. I've got speed system, I've got ballistic, I've got fast food magazine, I have the nuclear accelerators 3 and wheel to barrel system. I'm not sure what I'm going to put for the last special. It's going to depend on this target here. I don't have the last special. I'm missing 2 armors. I'm missing a gale. And I only have 2 ships like this. The other 2 have 1 less special and 2 less cannons. So we're missing a couple things. And the flagship is completely blank except for 1 weapon. It's just going to be parked in the corner here. You will notice here that this is it's a draconian tech, I believe. If I'm wrong, that's disappointing. But this is a draconian tech, which means that the crew that's going to help working with that here is, I have a bunch of them that I've been saving up, is the Dragon Slayers. You can see that the thing there is it gives plus 1% more Xinthium. I don't care about that. What I care about is the favored ship is in Draconian Hull, which gives 15% reload and 15% turn speed. Okay, we're going to take this into the level 120 Legion target here and see how it does and what kind of thing goes on here. This target is going to pay out, 250,000 points and part of a set bonus of another it's worth essentially 500,000 points because you get half of the set bonus. So we're gonna see what kind of thing this does. I'm gonna stop my ships in the back here before we get started. Okay. There's a lot of things going on here. We have flamethrowers at the back. Looks like just 1 at the back there, 1 over here. Yeah, we have we have 3 of them, and they're individual. They're separate from each other. They're not stacked up together. We have the UAV turrets right here, which will be a problem because I don't have any gales on my ships yet. Other people are using sprints. We have some short-range things here. I think those are just short-range, high damage. So I'm just going to stay away from those. And we have some Wendigos here, which, as I've said, we've seen those in the other targets. If you keep moving, they will do less damage to you, and they do radioactive damage. So theoretically, if you keep moving, you never get hit you shoot down all the UAVs. Let's go through the list. Number 1, keep moving at all times. Don't stop ever. Number 2, only engage things 1 at a time. Number 3, shoot down all the UAVs with your gales that have 100% accuracy and work well. Number 4, dodge all the flames. If you can do that, it should be okay to take low amount of damage on this target. The problem is things are clustered together, so you're not going to take a low amount of damage on this target. Okay. Someone is saying that Kixeye is offering Outfitted Dragon Limit 2 Scold for $14 each. So that they're already selling the ship, need to use this raid. Cuttlefish, I don't have any countermeasures on this ship. I didn't have time to build them. I have no countermeasures, so we're just going to go for that and see how that is. The UAVs are shooting at me, and I can't shoot back. I'm going to end up putting gales on there, I believe, unless someone shows me proof that sprints are better. But gales, I think, are the way to go. I don't have a countermeasure special on my ships right now. I'm not sure if I should go with 1 countermeasure hull and just put 6 gales on 1 ship, or 5 gales on 1 ship, rather, or if I should go for one on each ship, spread out a little bit, maybe with no special on them. That's something I'll have to see and gather information from this raid. Okay. Not a lot of damage. I might need high velocity rounds. Ships are shooting pretty fast, thanks to the partial rank and the fast food magazine. Ooh. I forgot about that. These there's a special ability for these ships here. It's the accelerate one. It says similar to the Apollo, and that means I'm going to, if you're moving, you're going to keep moving faster, and if you stop, you're gonna be slow, and then you're going to accelerate up there. So if you're moving, you keep moving faster. If you slow down, then you're going to slow down. Okay. Fire just went through. Let's see if we can target some things here. UAVs are shooting at me. I want to kill those. But I also want to not get hit by the fire. And there's the Wendigo. There are also mountains in here, which I can't shoot over. These mountainous terrain, you can't shoot over it. So I'm going to have to stay out of the way. I'm taking a little bit of damage here from the UAVs because I don't have gales, and the Wendigos because I can't keep moving all the time. Okay. If I stay spinning in a circle, I think that might help me a little bit. At least against the UAVs. I have 2 UAV turrets shooting at me here. I'm taking a long time to kill them because I don't have, like I said, I don't really have a good, I'm not fully built yet, not fully ranked. I need more weapons on my ships here. And that one's dead. I'm going to loop back and kill the ones at the back. These short-range turrets here. I don't know what they're named yet. I wish there was some easy database access where I could be able to see what is this turret, what damage does it do, what special ability does it have, a blueprint access that we could find there. These are the short-range arc turrets, so if you stay out of the firing arc, then you'll be fine, take no damage, guaranteed. Then a little bit of damage on this target here, taking a decent amount of damage on my fleet, so I might not end up making it through with the whole one. Okay, why are my ships going at different speeds? That's my question. They're built pretty similar to each other. Okay. I want to shoot the UAVs and Wendigos. I want to shoot the Wendigo, not the thing hiding the Wendigo from me. This building right here was blocking that. I'm stopped right now. I'm taking a lot of damage. I don't like what's going on. Yes, creeping would be a lot better. But I had to move past these ones right here because I'm taking because they're mountain terrains. Okay. We're stopped right now. We're taking damage from UAV. I wonder if we can reach it from this compartment here. I wonder if we can snipe that out. Looks like no. So I'm going to end up losing ship number 5 shortly. Let's plan our next move. After the fire goes through, run through to the next one. Okay, ready, set, go. Run through, park in here. Okay, one ship is down. We're safe from the fire, but we are being shot at. Anti-missiles, anti-mortars, anti-UAVs. That's what I want. Anti-UAVs are, I'm going to say, a requirement for these targets here. If you don't have them, you're going to have a very bad day, which is currently what's happening. Yep, these small yellow things, those are the UAVs. Am I gonna park in this? I'm gonna park right here. Whoa. There's a lot of turrets right here. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm not sure if it's best to go around this outside channel or through this one. I'm not sure which way is best to go here. This is the level 120 target. There is also a second target in this set, the 120, 122, I believe, 124 maybe. There's another target here, so you're going to have to use your hull in both targets. Now, as I've said, my ships are not fully ranked or fully built, but the fact that I can't do more than about a third of the target here on a decent amount of the ship's build time is fairly disappointing, honestly. Yes, it was my first attempt, so maybe there's some trick here I'm not getting. If I was going slower and focusing on things, that might help out a little bit. But my ships don't deal enough damage, and they don't have enough resistance and anti-countermeasures here, like UAV countermeasures. I need gales on my ships. I don't have those. I didn't see any Dragoon tokens in the raid, so there's not going to be any opportunity for me to get them on before the raid. So, what? We killed about a third of the target, and we're going to see our point payout here. Actually, looks like a lot of the damage I took was ballistic, which is interesting. I don't know where the ballistic damage is coming from, because those big flamethrowers do radioactive damage. I assume that the Wendigo-looking turrets were radioactive damage. It's probably the UAVs. The UAVs, I'm going to speculate, I'm going to conclude that the UAVs are dealing ballistic damage, which means that I don't have any antis. I'm going to take ballistic damage there. Yep, I'm seeing that in chat. Marshall's saying, Daniel's saying that the UAV is doing ballistic damage. There should be an easier way to find that out. But so I don't have any antis on there, so I'm taking damage from that. So I'm going to have to end up putting antis on my holes here. I got 81k points there, which is not a lot. You need antis on your holes. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the if I should put on one gale on each ship, or I should put most of them on my flagship, or I don't know my approach for gales. I might just do one on all of them. Oh, Daniel in chat there is saying that there's a strategy guide, Carl saying turret breakdown, a forum post. I haven't read that yet. Let's we can go look at that and see what's up with that. Okay. So, yes, once I have all weapons and VXP, I will steal things faster. Yes, there's an 8.5 cycle strategy guide. I might make a video separately on this one and go over it with my experience too. What it's saying is the targets there exist, and you can read all that later if you want to. There's A and C skirmish. Let's see. Okay, so this the mercury thrower is the flamethrower. So that looks like it's going to be the tricky one. The Pluto cannon is high threat. What's that one? I didn't see this in any of the targets I hit. It might just be in the 502. It might just be on... yes, I think this is in the 502, and the Scoundrel is the one that will stop being stunned by this one. Let's see. And then the Wendigo, as I said, I named that one correctly. That does radioactive damage. This Tempest, this short range, significant amount of damage to ships, so stay away from the short range turret or you deal huge radioactive damage. Oh yeah, here we go, the Pisher UAV, what Cuttlefish is calling the bees. That's ballistic damage. And then the Surfacer Cab here, it's going to stop submarines from coming in here. Okay, then there's some more information on the new prize here, the top prize. And we have 16 dislikes and 1 like, which is me. Welcome. Yep. So the Cuttlefish is confirming that this Pluto can is only in the X target, the level 502. Okay, so we have just under 500,000 points, and we've been going for just about an hour. We're just over 500,000 points. The prizes that I want, let's see. Things like radioactive and ballistic sync drive would be good. Those would be nice to have. Those would be good. I was expecting these to show up in the Forsaken mission after the raid. The fact they're in the raid is a little bit interesting to me. That might mean they're not going to be in the Forsaken mission, which would be highly irregular. I would expect them to end up being in the Forsaken mission. I might end up not getting them on the hope they're in the Forsaken mission, and I don't have that many points. Let's see what else is here. We have this new Interceptor hull. I'm not interested in that. I'm focusing on PvE right now. The scoundrel here, let's see, yep. I'm going to want to get this so I can build that and try and use this in the next raid and get a video going for that. That's 6 million points. That's going to be a decent amount of grinding here. There's also VXP tokens for that one. If you want to get that and build it out now, maybe use some Forsaken Mission tokens or whatever else if you save them. I didn't. Let's see. How long is the build time on this one, on the Scoundrel? 4 days, and it's you only want 2 specials and 1 weapon on there. Only you want a countermeasure on here and 2 specials. So I'll have to play around with the build on that. But 4-day build time isn't horrible. But there are some VXP tokens in here, which is good. I might end up trying to get those. The good thing about the experimental hole is you can get just 1 of them. Unfortunately, I'm not finished with building my fleet. My first fleet, so I don't know if I can focus on the Scoundrel yet at all. There are some other things here that I'll go over more in depth on other videos. The one thing I'm hoping for is some Gale 4s. I'm low on those and want some more of those. Those might be in bonus. It was just in pillage, but I didn't end up getting any because I didn't have enough points. I think I got 1 in pillage. Our Gale 4s in this raid. I know Gale 3s are, but those aren't good enough. We need the biggest, newest, fanciest, brightest things here. As long as you can do it for free. Let's see. There's some Hail Ds and some Gale 3s, but no Gale 4s. Yep, Gale System 3. Maybe I want some of those to try and put on my fleets here. Maybe I don't. So, what did we learn from this stream? We learned that the level 40 targets here were doable. We learned that were, in fact, fairly well designed for Fangtooth. Compliments to the team on those ones. We learned that the 62 was doable with eradicators. I took too much damage. And 64 was hard with one hole here. And let's see. In the 80s with silverfish, that was fairly doable. That was an hour, maybe an hour and a half of damage on the 2 targets here. The 400, don't do that unless you have the suppressor. So 80s are alright. Maybe point payout could be a little bit higher, but they're acceptable. Trying to be positive. My half-assed fleet, my half-built fleet here, in the 120, 122 was not sufficient. I died halfway through the target, less than halfway through the target. So you need an Ironclad fleet, an Ironclad Dragoon fleet, that needs to be more fully built than mine. So that's something that we're worrying about here. I want to do some tests, see what kind of countermeasure stuff I can use in the various targets, try and build some stuff out. But unfortunately, we don't have any build tokens for the Dragoons in this raid. Might not be possible. The 502 target, I'm not even going to attempt looking at because I don't have a Scoundrel. But so that's what we've learned from this little stream here. I hope people have enjoyed. Let's see if there's anything else anyone wants me to talk about, any builds or anything before we leave. In fact, I might even do a quick. So my Scoundrel build, it's a quickable countermeasure. Probably put a Gale 3 or 4 in here. You'll want an engine, so Speed System 6 would be a good one to go here. Speed System 6, and they're recommending Cannon System on here too. Looks like we have some ballistic range boost. Where's the built-in weapon? Yeah, there's Berserk. Yeah, built-in Scoundrel Striker Cannon, range of 50. So yeah, they're recommending Cannon System 5, I believe. That might be a build here. I don't know. It's just my guess here. Some other people might have different thoughts here. Maybe something Nuclear Accelerators 3 might be better. I'll have to play around with that, talk to some people, and see what we can figure out. But that's my Scoundrel. My Ironclad Dragoon build, I think I'm going to end up trying and putting some countermeasures on this after the raid because I can't do it now. Might try and put some Gales on this one. 5 Gales on here, maybe a couple. Thing is, this one would be a really good one to put lots of damage on my flag, lots of damage boosting specials, because I have the Lancer packs. So that would be a good one to put there. And then I could try and take my 5th ship here, one of these ones, and refit that away to be a countermeasure ship. And that would be a good way to go there for that way. Let's see. Someone is saying, Matthew is saying an eradicator can kill at least one turret in a 502 without taking damage. Let's go and peek a 502 anyway, just so that we can look at that target and see what's going on. But if a eradicator can kill one turret here without taking damage, I might lose the whole fleet here. But let's see. Okay, which turret are we talking about? There's a lot of submersible stuff. And maybe this first turret here. Let's peel in there and then peel out. We've taken no damage yet. Oh, there we go. There's some damage. There goes my whole fleet. Well, killed the turret, lost the fleet, 9k points, not worth it. That's going to be painful. Need to get out of there quicker than that. That's the risk. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the live stream. If you have any questions, put them in the comments down below on my live stream, on Facebook, on Discord, on Kixeye website, wherever you found this. Go ahead and put a comment there. If you have any questions on my stream, anything related to the stream. If you want to have other Battle Pirates videos uploaded this week, I'm going to try and figure out and put a video out for every target this raid that I can hit. I'm going to attempt to put a video out for those targets. Maybe even get some other people to hit some other targets that I can't hit, so I can still get videos out and still help people. I can definitely help lower levels right now. A little bit worried about my ability to help out higher levels. So go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel to find those videos throughout this raid, and make sure you're watching those. I do try to help people. If you like this stream, you can help me out by leaving a like on here. And that just lets me know that's an indicator. It lets me know that this is helpful, something I should keep doing. So if you want to support my channel, go ahead, click the like button. You can check out some links in the description. And anyway, I hope this video was helpful for some of you. It is currently 1 hour and 7 minutes in. Raid started in sector world Bravo here. So world beta, excuse me. So other people are going to be going on hitting targets here. If you want to watch again from the beginning to see the lower level targets before you hit those, go ahead and try that. But thank you everyone for tuning in, and this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.